So good morning. I am here to introduce you to this very mysterious name of DMI update. If we open it up to Dutch Metropolitan Innovation's ecosystem, it's even more mysterious. So let's see, we have 15 minutes, and we are very strict with time. And I will have to summary for you something that academics in the computing and systems engineering field are doing for the past 5 years. So it's going to be a challenge. And I also have to introduce myself. I am Luisa Garcia Montoya. I've been working at AMS-IX less than 23 years as Steven, but long enough that when I joined, our peak rate traffic was 900 gigabits per second in our platform in Amsterdam. So that is 11 terabits per second ago. We had only 5 data centers, and in fact, one of my first projects, because I've been project manager for AMS-IX, was the implementation of a standard for collocating, assessing the quality, where we were collocating our points of presence. Well, I've been also one of the projects was to create reseller ports, because that was possible only with a new technology, MPLS, when back in the days. I've also was part of the international expansion, starting with Curaçao, Hong Kong with our partner Hutchison, of course. We did the USA, India, of course. So it's many, many years. We won't have time for a quiz, but that would be a good introduction. So before that, I worked for Colt, the telecom provider for the financial sector and the stock exchanges in Europe. And before of that, I worked for AT&T Unisource, when I had the luck to meet great people, good friends, and the founders of AMS-IX. So that was long enough. The agenda, so we will start with the AMdEX Field Lab project that was the predecessor of DMI, another mysterious name. So I hope to give you the highlights at the key results. But the most important thing is that I want to make you excited and enthusiastic, and members and customers to join our big leap to data. So that's the motivation here for my talk. So the AMdEX Field Lab, I don't know if you noticed, but when Steven mentioned that he had a project with the European Union, he had a kind of smirk, because we've been always founding our projects because we have a good product that you buy, and we provide a good service, and that allows us to improve. So when these academics came to us with a proposal of joining a collaboration so that we could create a new standard for data exchange funded by the European Union funds, that was a kind of, it's not the way that we do things at AMS-IX, but the proposal was so good that we couldn't say no. So it's been difficult, because working with academics is something that we were not used to. But for them, the governance or the governance that we organize our operations is key, because we are a neutral, non-profit, member-based association, and for this particular problem that we embark upon to solve, that is trust, this way of working, that was key. So I have a video, so I will show you in their words what they did, we did together, and then I carry on.
Smart data application will result in new information and insights. This, in turn, will allow for early detection of diseases, improvement of treatment methods, efficient and responsible use of energy, and more sustainable travel. You will need large amounts of data for the best possible insights. More often than not, these data are available, but stored in different places and with different data owners. These owners often won't share their data for fear of losing control or because they feel they'll be giving away too much information. And let's be honest, would you as an organization just happily give access to your data? Probably not. AMdEX is working on a secure way of accessing each other's data, including sensitive data. You can formally agree on property rights via AMdEX. Think of it as a neutral online notary you're entering into a contract with regarding how and who you want to give access to your data. AMdEX is developing innovative tools for preparing and enforcing these digital contracts. Are those conditions not being complied with? Then AMdEX will resolve the dispute. An example, a linguist wants to analyze the wording in hundreds of books, but publishers are reluctant to share the copyrighted works. They use AMdEX to agree on which algorithm can be used to analyze the data. The digital books stay with the publishers, and the linguist will only receive the analysis results. AMdEX is currently still a test lab, where initiatives and organizations collaborate. Would your organization also like to share large amounts of data in a trusted, secure, and controlled manner? Then register on amdex.eu.
So, in summary, like great ideas, they are very simple. What we are doing is translating all these frameworks, what we have in the physical world, to the digital world. These frameworks is like if you are going to buy a house that is an important asset, then you have not only the law, but you have a notary that will make sure that the asset that you are investing your money in is worth the investment. And you have also all the legal system that protects the transactions, terms and conditions when they are not so valuable. But with digital assets, we have to work out the same framework in digital, because what you are controlling is the data flows. So how do you do it? Well, there is in computing, you have many already more things that would sound similar to access control. So only that in this case we are not only controlling the flows of who is accessing the infrastructure, the technical infrastructure, but we are also controlling what you do with in the data flow. So, and that is the next layer in access control. So as a result of the AMdEX project, we have the reference architecture, and then we can land of DMI, because DMI will allow us to do the next phase to developing all these frameworks, this standard. So let's start with DMI. Of course, this is the Dutch Metropolitan Innovation, 85 million euros investment in 5 years. It's a co-funded. So 50% is what the national growth funds of the Netherlands invest on it, and the other half is part of what we put as parties. Not only AMS-IX, of course, but it's an ecosystem with about 300 companies that work on that. And if you see, the first objective of this project is to reduce 55% the CO2 emissions. So the first question that you could say is what does it have to do with data sharing? Well, it has everything to do with data sharing, because let's suppose that municipalities translate the plans of the government into actions. So let's suppose that the municipality of Amsterdam wants to limit certain amount of cars for reducing the CO2 emissions. So they started collecting, stopping the cars to get into Amsterdam. So that was the measure, but they want to measure, that was the measure, the policy that they created, but they want to measure if this policy is indeed effective. So what would you need? You would need like, let's say, IoT collectors of measuring the quality of the air, and those devices will send data to other applications, and then you will need dashboards to evaluate if this measure is really effective, but those dashboards are provided likely by other suppliers. So you have all these data, so you cannot do your own business with only the data that you collect for your own purposes. You need all these collections of data. So this is something that specifically is a use case that we need to address. So this is a complicated graph. I only have 3 minutes now. So I have to tell you here is that we are gonna develop all the components of the architecture that we started already. What is AMS-IX specifically doing? AMS-IX will operate the standard that is developed by the AMdEX as a team. So that's our part on it. How? So we need to do it in a very simple way. So not the way that the government normally, well, not the government, how we contract all these pieces together is what you have in a company. You have tenders, you have to assess requirements, assess the trustability of the vendors. So we are creating a process that companies can join the AMdEX operated by AMS-IX facility and be sure that the data products that are offered have fulfill the quality, the conditions that they need. So, and this is something that at the moment, because it's the update is that we are at the level of our first component, that is the product data catalog. And not only a catalog, is something that you need a search function, and we will have also a ranking to evaluate the quality of the data products that are announced there. So I will skip the explanation of more functionalities of this product data catalog. That is the first component that we will develop for DMI. And I will go to the last slide of my presentation, that is to want to issue a call for use cases among our community. So it's very simple. If you are connected to AMS-IX and you have an application that you can offer to other members of the AMS-IX community, we can connect via a closed user group. And if you have a contract with those, you are not at the internet traffic layer, we are talking about data, so then you have a contract to deliver that service, and if we evaluate that contract and the conditions and the flows of your data with our AMdEX standard, then we can rate and publish your application to not only to the community, but also to the ecosystem of DMI. So, thank you, and yeah. I don't know if we have time for questions. Do we? Yes. Yes.
The microphone.
Thanks. Nick from AMS-IX. You mentioned that there's the possibility of disputes. Who will resolve the disputes, and how will that be undertaken?
Yes, this is a functionality of the AMdEX standard. We are working. I failed to say our partners. So we have We have the UFA, SURF, DEXs, and also in this phase we are working with KPMG, who have auditing tools for digital audits. And the idea is to open up to more of these auditing companies, because these are the very important stakeholders in this process. And we will have this functionality of how we will do the auditing and the dispute resolution with the operations of the AMdEX standard. Sorry? Oh, yeah. So we are also working with a company called Abikis, and this is an accelerator. So they are supporting us in project management, but also in business development, and to make us take the leap faster. Okay. Thank you.